Hello, Steve Walker. How are you today?
Yes, I'm very well, thanks, Sam. Nice to
Very good.
see you on this
Nice to
fine
see you.
morning.
Yeah, that's right. It's lovely. Um, Now, you work for the Faith Mission, don't you? For
Yes.
those who might view this video who don't know much about the Faith Mission, can you just explain a little bit about the organisation and how it started first?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I suppose Faith Mission is a rural. Well, first of all, it's a Christian charity,
Yeah.
and it was established really in Glasgow in 1886. So it's the one thing that we have in common with Coca-Cola. We were established the same year,
Same year.
although they're a little bit better known than we are. But although they're only carbonated water, but
Of course.
it's I so it was established by a man called John George Govan, and he was a businessman in Glasgow, and he was a contemporary really of William Booth, who's a lot better
Oh, yeah.
known because of the Salvation Army and how big they are. But he was a contemporary of them,
Yeah.
and he saw very much firsthand how there was a lot of gospel witness and evangelistic things happening in the like of Glasgow through William Booth and Salvation Army.
Yeah.
And as he moved out into the rural areas to preach in various churches and things, he saw what seemed to be like going from a lot of activity in the cities to absolutely no activity happening
Oh,
and
wow.
gospel witness happening in the rural areas. So
Yeah.
he left his business and just started to do evangelistic missions out in the rural areas,
Yeah.
and then he invited others to join him. And on the 14th of October, I think it was, 1886, he wrote in his diary, the Faith Mission is established, and it's called the Faith Mission because it's built on or it's founded really on the faith principle for our finances and things. We don't ask for money. We just trust God that God
Mm.
would supply the need as the need goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, Jesus sent his disciples, didn't he, with very few resources, and to be in that place of dependence upon God is, uh, I think, really necessary. It's part of how God works in us, isn't it?
Absolutely.
In that way. So, some for some, the Lord can entrust, resources to, and others need to look. We all need to look to Him all the time for everything that we need. Fascinating. So, I mean, as much as I've been aware of the Faith Mission over the years, yes, a faith work. It's a labour of love, and it's very gospel centered. Everything, there's a very strong evangelistic expression, isn't there, from Faith Mission? In what ways does that sort of work out in the broader ministry? I mean, what do you have going on that the Faith Mission are involved in nowadays?
Okay. Well, I suppose there's three main streams
Yeah,
to Faith Mission.
yeah,
And I suppose the first one is very obviously the rural evangelism, which I'll maybe enlarge on that in a moment. But
yeah,
there's also this, I suppose the second stream really is our Bible college, because we've got a Bible college in Edinburgh, and if we're going to
Edinburgh.
work in rural evangelism uh, under the banner of Faith Mission, we generally, those who work with Faith Mission have trained there.
Yes.
So currently we have still got our Bible college in Edinburgh, which has been going for maybe over 110 years.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
was
so
quite, that was
that's
established quite early on then.
yes, it was.
Mm.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
in a much more in a much smaller
Yeah.
um, sort of context,
Yeah.
but it was established well on, and it used to be the course used to last about, I think it was 3 months,
Okay.
and anyone who wanted to work with John George Govan,
Mm.
um, they had to train for 3 months. Then they expanded it to to 1 year,
Yeah.
and now currently the basic course is is 2 years for a diploma. You can still do a 1-year course, but currently they're working on getting the course accredited by universities so it can become a degree course. So so that's our Bible college, and this year we have a number of I think maybe 8 students who have been accepted. So that's our Bible college. Then of course we have our bookshop ministry. That was probably established more like, I don't know, 40, 50 years ago. And one of our field workers, he just started to sell some books. He saw a need. People needed Christian literature. And he set up like a little mobile sort of selling area, or area whereby he could, take books and sold books. And
that's right.
So he founded that whole thing. So those are the main streams, and I suppose from those things come other things. But as far as the rural ministry goes, the rural evangelism, that's the part that I'm involved in.
Yes. And
each, really, I suppose we broke it up into 15 geographical areas. Each area has a field leader. So in East Anglia, or in southeast of England, so myself and Cynthia, we're the field leaders. And then we have team members as well as that. So as far as what that looks like, again, in the larger sort of spectrum throughout the work of Faith Mission, each area looks a little bit differently. But I suppose what it looks like here is we go into, myself and our team, who's Arabella Paul in Kent and James and Katie Brown in Ipswich. We would be going into schools, we'd be teaching RE. They're generally rural schools rather than town schools. And teaching a little bit of RE. We would do evangelistic breakfasts and things that would happen here at the Faith Mission Centre. Where our camps are run. And so we would do an evangelistic breakfast. We would go into the schools, reach the kids, then invite the kids with their parents to come to the centre for an evangelistic breakfast, to come to camps, summer camps, and various different things, as well as an itinerant preaching ministry that we would have here.
That's right. I know you go to a lot of little chapels and churches, don't you, around East Anglia?
We do.
Which is excellent. Fantastic. Okay, well, how has we'll get onto the personal side of things about COVID and how that's affected you as a family, but how has the COVID pandemic affected your ministry in the locality? I suppose no school work for starters.
No.
And how, what other things have been affected?
I suppose on a personal level, it's affected. I suppose my mother-in-law became ill just about, I don't know, what would it be? I think it was the beginning of April. And was diagnosed with cancer. Then, of course, because of the COVID-19, because we couldn't travel, we couldn't get to see her. And I suppose just to put it in context, she lives in Canada. I lived in Canada, and then so that happened, and she was diagnosed.
Cynthia's mother, your wife.
Cynthia's mother was diagnosed with cancer, and then it was very aggressive, and then it progressed, and on the 25th of May, she went to be with the Lord Jesus. So that's really been a struggle, especially for Cynthia, and still is struggling with it currently. So just unable to be with her mom in the last few days, unable to go out there currently and take care of business. So that's been
a trial, real trial.
A trial, a difficulty, And as far as the ministry goes, again, as you say, there's no schools. Schools were closed, so none of that was open to us. And largely speaking, because we live at the Faith Mission Camp and Conference Centre there's always something to do.
Yes.
So if we're not going out preaching, if we're not going to schools,
Yeah.
there are hedges to be trimmed, there's fences to be painted, there's an endless amount of things. So we just get busy, but just in a very different way.
That's right. Yeah. It's I know I can remember somebody emphasizing to me how practical a spiritual ministry is. It's
Yeah.
not just about meetings and
No.
opportunities, it's about a lot of hard work in the background as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So the centre is based down fairly near Stowmarket, isn't it? Sort of that direction.
Yes.
It's Red House Farm. I
Okay.
visited a number of times over the years, but in the recent years, you've had quite a large development there, haven't you? Tell the folks about that a little bit.
Okay. I suppose when we came here, the camp centre it was really just a disused farm
Yeah.
until Faith Mission bought it over 2001.
Uh-huh.
And it was sort of gotten into a condition where we could set up tents and run camps, and a commercial kitchen was set up. But it was always the long-term goal to develop, always a long-term goal to make it an all-year-round facility.
Yes.
So I got the keys to Red House Farm in 2012, plus building plans. And so 2013, we made a start. And now the old buildings have been really just knocked down and rebuilt. So we've got, I think we've got about 17 dormitories. So we've got about 85 beds.
Yeah.
Quite a large sports hall.
Yeah.
A large conference meeting, a dining room, and currently we're just developing our play park, which we were hoping to get to use a camp this year, yes. But that's not to be. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has developed significantly, and again, we didn't say advertise that we needed money for it. We just trusted God, and the Lord provided, and
fantastic. And it's a considerable amount of money so far, isn't it? Is it over a million and something?
Yeah, I would say if we were going to put it out to, if we had put the building
on the market
project out to tender, it probably would have maybe $1.5 million or thereabouts. But we've done it for significantly less than that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have donated time and skills, and people have done things at cost price.
I know Alan and Gwenda, who come to us on a Sunday evening. He was a painter and decorator, wasn't he? Yes. So both of them have been down and done painting all over the place. I understand.
Did a lot of painting. So we relied a lot on people like Alan and Gwenda, and people who would give a lot of man hours and skills. I've got one friend who, anytime there's any concrete to go down, he always says, put it on my bill. So we put it on his bill. So
it's amazing, isn't it, how God provides. Incredible. Yeah, really lovely.
Yeah, he's got thousands of pounds of concrete in here with his name on it. So.
Right, lovely. So what, in the situation that you're in at the moment, you said that because of COVID, obviously you can't have the camp in the usual way, but that doesn't mean the camp's not happening, does it? So what is happening instead?
Well, I've got a really good team of young people around me.
Yeah.
There are young people who have come up through the summer camps.
Yeah.
A number of them have become Christians through the summer camps.
Oh, right.
And so there's about 15 or 20 of them.
Wow.
And they're all, at this stage, they're all early 20s and late teens, early 20s. So they are very able and very tech savvy. So we have decided this year, instead of not doing camp at all, that we would do a virtual camp. So a lot of the stuff that we'll be doing will be happening through Zoom.
Fantastic.
And some pre-recorded videos and the like. So so that's coming up. That starts on Monday morning, actually.
Oh, right. We're quite soon.
So quite soon. So there's a few wrinkles that we still need to iron out.
There always is, right to the last minute.
Yeah. That's my experience.
Yeah, that's right. So how best could folk pray for you? What sort of prayer requests would you have at the moment that people could engage with in prayer over?
Okay, I suppose on a personal note, I would say for Cynthia, my wife, she's would dearly like to get out to Canada to sort through the business of her mum's estate, and things like that, and just the emotional. That's right. Turmoil of losing someone in this current situation. So that's a personal one. But as far as the ministry goes, please do pray for camp. That's certainly a big one. And the camp is we've got our teenagers that are happening this coming Monday, so that'll be Monday to Friday. Yes. And then we have the juniors the following week. Yeah. And that'll be 9 to 12-year-olds. 9 to 12-year-olds. Yes. And is that for a full week? It's for a full week. Yeah. And there's a meeting in the morning where we do a little bit of Bible teaching, share a song, and then we give the young people a challenge to do during the afternoon. They've got to build stuff, make stuff, do stuff, record themselves, send it to us, and then we meet together in the evening and just touch base again, and things. So so there's a lot happening. It's very involved. Sounds like good fun. Yeah. It should be, and we're really looking forward to it, and just praying that for some of these young people, even though it's less than ideal circumstances, that it might even be the most significant camp they've ever been to. That's right. Yeah. This camp goes. Yeah. They're very significant, these camps, aren't they? I mean, I've spoken to a number of people who've, lifelong friendships have been formed on camps, and even young people have grown up and they've got married to other people that they met on camp and things like that, so these things do happen. But it's very, very significant times, really. Fantastic. Excellent. Right, well, thank you very much, Steve, for coming on today, and we do pray for you. You've been to Burston too long ago. It's been a while. Too long ago. I keep saying whenever we meet, we must have you back at some stage, and we will do, definitely. But yes, so God bless you in your work and ministry next week, and we certainly pray for you and Cynthia in the days that lie ahead. Okay, thanks ever so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.